This is 1997. I made GR because I watched a couple Frankenstein movies, like the old original Frankenstein movies, on the old, they had like a late night movie monster show marathon, and I would watch those. So I decided I have a camera, which was my little tyco camera, shot only black and white. You had to hook it up to like a VCR and to record, because it didn't have any recording things on it. So I decided, well, one day I went out in my garage, put on a little lab coat, which was actually my dad's meat cutter coat for being a butcher, and I set up a blender, telephone, and some maybe old radio parts. Put that together, made a little apparatus looking thing, turned the blender on, filled it up with water, backlit it with a flashlight, and set up a table made out of boogie boards, because I was a beach bum. That's why I have long hair in the movie. Set up boogie boards on the table, covered it with sheets, made a fake body, had a fake Plan 9 from outer space kind of mask. Well, that's what it looked like to me, old Ed Wood movie. Put that on there, and then I started cutting back and forth with the camera, and I made GR. What was going through my mind at this time? Oh, I just wanted to make a cool, fun, like scary movie. Even though now when you watch it, it was just like high school kids having fun, and it looks very quaint, and it looks very, but it still looks like, it looks cool, but I wanted to make a fun movie so my friends would want to make movies with me. Let's see here, I had Gabe Messer, Trevor Graciano, Chad Ackerman, Casey Hatchet Swartz, so there's me, and that was it. And then my friends saw I made a certain scene where I'm making this monster come to life, and I really didn't know what it was going to be about. And I made this scene, which is in the movie, where I'm looking at the apparatus, I'm hitting all the switches, which are like on a karaoke machine and stuff. I made it look like a lab apparatus. I'm flipping switches, and things are happening, and then the monster comes alive and it attacks me, and I'm playing the monster, and I'm also playing the lab guy, and I'm cutting back and forth. I would like take off my clothes and and literally get half naked to be the monster, be like, and put the mask on and tighten it on, film my part, and then take it off, stop, like pause the VCR. Then I'd put on my lab coat and then be all scared, and then I got it done, put some music to it, which I think at the time was Batman from Tim Burton's Batman, the first one. I used one of the scores off that, and then I put it all together, and then I played it on the TV. And one day my brother and all of our friends were over, Trevor and all the guys that you see in the movie, they were over, and they watched it, and they were like, that's awesome, like, yeah, let's do this. So I thought of an idea, came up with a quick story, wrote a script actually, and we made this film. Favorite memory of making this film is just hanging out with the friends. Like always, even when I make movies, just hanging out with friends. And two, reminiscing when I watch the film now, and it's like whatever years later, 13, 14 years later, or whatever long ago it was. And so I remember those good old days hanging out, and then in that garage where we filmed all this movie took place, that was our hangout. We'd have pizza parties in that garage. We'd watch movies. We had TV, and so this was like the place. It's almost like maybe another movie will be on the way, and it'll be about those adventures we had. And we had tons of adventures, and we'd hang out. This was our we were the Monster Squad, and this was our tree house. This is where we'd hang out every night. We'd be there. We'd be up till like 3 a.m. doing crazy things. It was good times. I have a good reminiscence of hanging out with my friends. You encounter this problem when making a movie is scheduling. People cannot be there at the same time as other people. I was doing like plays and drama class and stuff. That was a big problem. Somebody doesn't show up and you don't have an understudy, you're stuck. You can't do the play because you're missing that person. It could be a lead role or whatever. But then I realized in the movies, you have the magic to show the people what you want them to see in the frame. So I thought, oh, okay, so Trevor Graciano can't show up the same day Casey can. So what would I do? I was like, okay, we'll shoot all your sides, Trevor. Let's just get them done. I'll put on Casey's costume, we'll shoot it at certain angles, and I'll do all his part, and we'll choreograph the fight. And whoever we shot first they would lead the scene, because then we'd choreograph everything, and then the other person we filmed second would have to follow that. We'd watch it, and then we'd follow that scene, and then we'd switch. Then when Casey could arrive and Trevor couldn't, then I'd film all Casey's side, and I'd be Trevor's part. So I found out that was a bump I encountered, but I figured out by being creative we could do that, and we did that throughout the whole movie actually, and that's how I got that movie done. If I could change anything about this movie, I would change nothing about it, because this is if you watch this film, it was very unique in how it was made, and I was learning. It was my first adventure, and I was learning how to make movies. There's even movies I made before that I was playing around, but this was like the first one that actually turned out to be like a movie to me. Actually, I consider to myself a movie. So I would change nothing about it. I think even if you watch, I did change a little things in the remaster, like music, and I added some things just for like jokes for myself and for our friends to laugh at. But pretty much 98% of the movie is still the same. So it's just like little things I had to change because of copyright. The cast of the new GR, the 2003 one, I showed them clips of this movie, and they ended up just wanting to watch the whole thing. And at first I thought, at the time I was like, oh, it looks bad, it looks whatever, it looks not that good. But they were like, no, this is awesome. And they were asking me, did you film this on film? I was like, no, it was just on a little tyco camera. And they wanted copies of the old GR. So that GR stood out to the new cast of the new GR. Oh, and two, by the way, GR is the most, one of my most asked about movies ever. Whenever it's like, for some reason, probably the name or whatever, people want to watch it, and they always like it, so. In the original, no. The tyco camera only filmed black and white, didn't even have a zoom on it. So all the zooms, or not zooms, or dollies were moving in. So very limited. The black and white, that's why in the movie doing the makeup effects was really easy to get away with, because we just use black grease paint, especially on my face or any the characters we use black grease paint. If they have beards, we'd use it. So that's our makeup, black grease paint or gray. And then we used chocolate syrup for any of the blood dripping on the floor. Or if it was falling on cement or something like carpet or something, we could actually literally just pour water and it would come out dark. So a lot of times when you see the blood like seeping like out on the floor, normally it's just water. That's all it is, and it just came out dark on the camera. So yeah, I couldn't change it. It was just what we had. But it was like coolest thing because I didn't have a camera, and this was my first camera that I owned. It was mine, and I made a lot of little films out of it. Yeah, that's really cool. We just premiered it to the neighborhood friends right there in my house. People all came over and we watched it. It wasn't like a big thing, didn't put it in the newspaper or anything like that, because we just did this for fun. So it was everybody who was involved and other friends who wanted to watch it. And I remember one day we had the living room filled up with all my brother's friends and my friends. And it was like my dad's couch was all filled up with people, and we were just sitting there. And I remember one of the guys sitting down there, they were in that little living room, and we were watching on my dad's TV screen. And we watched it. It was like one afternoon. It wasn't even at nighttime. It was afternoon. They were just getting a break, getting water from skating all day, and came in and watched it. And everybody said they liked it. They actually thought one guy came up to me, which I was surprised. I don't remember his name. He came up to me and I was surprised. I thought he was gonna make fun of it. And he came up. He goes, "Wow, that was really cool. How'd you do that?" And then that's what people started asking me. They're going, "How'd you do that?" Or they're like, "Oh, I saw how you did that with the sword. That was cool. I saw how you did the blood. That was cool. What'd you use?" And then it was just like, "How'd you do that?" It was like all of a sudden I was like this magician, and they were like, "How'd you do that?" And then they wanted to help out in the next one. And we're always talking about doing the next one, which became, I did in Montana, called Space Dummies, which I have the little suit here, the original suit. And then later I did Zombie Spoof with the same dudes that are in GR. Trevor Graciano, Casey has a small part in it. A lot of those same guys who watched GR were in Zombie Spoof. So kids weren't doing like what they do now. There was no editing, so it was weird to see a kid editing a movie. Even though it looked bad, it looked weird. I think because it looked like a movie, even though the video quality was bad, the effects were stupid, it was a movie. And that's the part that intrigued people, I think. And why I'm putting it out there, this movie out there, and I'm sharing it with other people. is so there's something about this movie that I know people like, so I want to share it. And two, it's more just for me and my friends to kind of reminisce, and so we have something to look back on as we get older. Remember those good old days making films, because that was different. And I make movies still for the same reason. It's a hobby of mine. It's a hobby I love doing. I just love it, and that's why we were doing it. We're having a good old time, and I still, when I make movies, I'm just having a good old time with my friends, and making new friends when I'm doing it. And it just kind of, it's a good bonding thing. So I'd say to the people out there, watch this film, have fun with it, and go out there and make your own movie and have some fun.